I'm Minalva and I'm back with another episode of Tuesday Talks. Today we have Rohit with us. Rohit is a Bombay-based visual artist. Hello Rohit, how are you?
Hi, I'm really doing good. I hope. How are you doing?
I'm doing good too. We are so glad that you are here with us talking about your practice today.
Okay, I'm really excited to talk about as well.
Can you give us a little brief about what your practice is all about?
O- I'll just go with the main part of my practice is I work with the drawings, and most of them I work with dry mediums and ink on paper. That is a very primary practice at the moment happening recently. Apart from that, I also try to learn about other mediums like via doing print and also learning about the kinetic sculptures, about its mechanism, motors, and also understanding the coding part. It's in this still learning process because it's one of the things which I've never done earlier. So it's kind of learning from the scratch and also looking after the mentors who do this works and also talking to a lot of electronic engineers who are into this process and kind of uh, understanding its overall mechanism and so I can develop sculptures in future.
That sounds interesting. I like how your practice is now transitioning towards sculpture. That's quite interesting. What drew you to becoming a visual artist? Was there any moment or an influence which, you were like, okay, I want to get into the visual arts space and become an artist? How did that happen?
So uh it's very for me it was not any inspiration from any senior artist or any mid career or anyone. It was more like I was just good in drawings in school, and that kind of led me to becoming an artist. So it was like compared to other subjects, I was just good in drawing, good in little bit diagram things, and then doing a lot of creative stuff during schools. And uh, after the 10th, which normally we do an aptitude test, then the test also give the results of becoming an interior designer, architect, and visual art. So this is something I chose, and that's how it happened to be right now. So it was not something in the school. I was not aware of any famous artists except those masters or the modern contemporaries. Those were the only names I was aware, but I was not aware of this career as how I can pursue. After the aptitude test and after the 10th, I started to look after the streams and okay, and then I got to know okay, these are the also careers where we can just practice drawings and become an artist. So that's how it becomes.
Interesting. So, what are you creating currently? Are there any piece of work or is there any piece of work that's, currently consuming your thoughts?
Yeah, so I'm currently working on the dry mediums. Like I'm working with a lot of sepia pencils, which are mostly used by the portrait painters. And apart from that, also exploring the dry mediums, which include soft pastels, oil pastels, and uh, pencil colors. So kind of experimenting with those things and trying to develop new pieces. So it's very much different from my ink on paper based works. So where the ink is kind of become a very primary medium, but here the dry pastels are kind of opening up new opportunities for me to experiment, to mix and match two different mediums from wet to dry. Something like that. I'm relearning and reshaping my own practice. And not keeping constrained with the very traditional way of using these pastels. So trying to develop my own way of creating some newer methodology so I can experiment and give justice to my own thought process and how the concept leads me to create new experimentation.
Okay, so interesting. So talking about mediums, what are the mediums which you feel very connected to, and which mediums do you feel a little difficult to work with? Like, is there any sort of medium
Uh,
thing?
as I mentioned, the kinetic sculptures are very difficult medium for me because I do not come from a sculptural background. And apart from the kinetic sculptures holds a lot of electronical things which I'm really not so aware of. I know the very basics of like motors, fans, wire. These are very layman terms which everyone knows. But apart from that, when you work with kinetic sculptures, you also need to understand the coding part of the work. The sculpture need to perform in certain way. Then you code certain things. And if there is a mechanical things, then it's a very complicated process to make those mechanical work things work in a very precise manner. So
Hmm.
that's something I'm really learning from the scratch. And in terms of mediums, like pastels and oil colors, so I feel oil colors, the professional ones, and the oil pastels, sorry, not oil colors, oil pastels, and the chalk colors and soft pastels give me very good bloomy effect and a certain kind of effects which very goes well with the my current thought process, how I want to create a work and how it should be seen in certain manner. So they kind of fit just well with that type of concept which I'm looking for. So I'm just
Hmm.
constantly experimenting, doing same thing again and again to see how the results are changing over the period of time, or I'm kind of learning again and again from what I have done. So it's kind of like a doing, constant doing is happening at the moment.
Okay, interesting. So we met when you were with the Space Studio Residency in Baroda.
Yes.
Um, the kind of works you were doing at that point, it really kind of, I like those sets of work which you did back then. Can you talk about your practice then a little?
Oh yeah. So when I got received the residency program, so I had a very prefabricated thought in my mind that I'll be creating a certain sets and it will be coming under the concept of psychogeography. And also, so that kind of lead me to create uh, a certain amount of works, and also how the psychogeography blends well with the geographic location where you belong. And as you know, you are from Baroda as well, so how Baroda has attracted a lot of artists from India and abroad, and they really stay there for a good amount of time, from the early careers till the mid careers, and however they feel it. So in a similar manner for me also, Baroda had certain things, and it also attracted me in some point of time, and this residency gave me that attraction much more a lively experience when I was, so it's really shaped my practice in some format. It gave me a lot of nuances and a lot of other experience which kind of added well for creating a very good amount of work during the residency. So like creating mind maps which were like taking actual map of Baroda and stamping in Gujarati language, and uh, also creating certain experience which Baroda gave me in some format while meeting artists, visiting MSU, visiting other studios, and visiting some uh, s- other senior artists, which really shaped my mind and also question my own practice. Is it going well? Is it something I'm lacking? Is it something I should be improving on certain parts of the practice, or my thought process is kind of being stagnant in some format? It really opened up some new questions. And the overall residency gave me a very holistic learning, which is still continued at the moment. I'm still reconnecting those learnings. I've noted down certain things. I've corrected recordings during visiting artists. I'm relearning, re-listening to those recordings and trying to put them into my practice so I can cherish, improve well and cherish these things for a longer period of time.
Great. And talking about your practice, which includes this geography, and I think you also had a set of works which were connected a little to psychology, and the works you done with the lines and everything, which I think I really like those works. Can you talk about
Yeah,
that a little?
I think psychology and anxiety goes well, I think, in some format in my practice. Uh, yeah, I also included anxiety and psychology of my own thought process. So I have an anxiety which I've having this for a good amount of past years. So that kind of automatically lead me to creating those works, and also adding psychology when you have an anxiety, what is the state of mind? I question that scenario in and try to put that state of mind in my works. So I think in today's time, anxiety is a very common thing. Everyone is dealing with. Everyone is dealing with its own format. some people won't be knowing ki if this scenario or phenomena can be coming under the anxiety, but they might have. So, uh, and during the anxiety, you really don't know what is the state of mind. So it's something you are into like a very different world. You are into a pause, or you are into in a very unique circumstances that you kind of trying to understand. So the psychology gives these answers very well, because psychology is some sort of study of your body, mind, and overall surroundings, and that helps us to understand what is the state of mind. So psychology goes well with it.
So, how do you, when you make such words, how do you want the viewer to perceive your artwork? Do you like giving them hints, or do you like to leave it up to them entirely?
I would prefer to leave it up to them, because if I want to give hints, then it leaves uh the room of thought process. As in, if I give you tell about certain work, then you will think about that in that particular manner only. So I don't want that to happen. So work is, I would prefer the work should be very open-ended. It should be allowing visitors its own interpretation, imposing its own thought process on it. So that leads to the newer perspective, and then we will be able to connect to my work in much more closer sense. He or she also had that type of experience, or that type of scenario in any format. So that is something I would cherish a lot. That viewer thinks in his own way, leading to its own interpretation, leading to its own thought process in whatever format they feel while watching the work, or leaving or admiring.
Okay. And since you started, as a student to now being a practicing artist, has your relationship with art changed over the years, or has it evolved? And if it has, how has it evolved? Can you
Yeah, it
explain?
evolved over the
Take
period of
through?
time. Yes, I would say it has been evolving process. From earlier, it was more like I need to do something in some format. Now it's very become a research oriented after my abroad studies. So if I'm creating a work, then I will always look for something to back up in some format, or I will be, if I'm doing sketching, then it is also leading to establish a certain concept in the work. So sometimes very free form, but sometimes it's very like understanding my own concept via doing some sketching, scribbling, and then leading to the much more bigger size of work.
What does your creative process looks like? Are there any rituals involved, or um, you know, what was the process of it? Like you kind of mentioned that your practice has been more research based now. So, what kind of research do you incorporate into the practice?
Okay. So sometimes it's not like a very like a have wait, I'll just redo the whole thing. I
Yeah.
just forgot my full words. So it starts with a very basic sketching on a paper. Like if I'm coming up with certain concept, or if I'm reading about certain things, then it helped me to so I just put them into the words, and then do some artwork, or do some scribbling in a very simple format. And then I try to look about, then if that the research helps me to look the things in certain manner. If someone has done this work, that's a very primary. Mostly the 20th century artist who has working in this category or not, who has did this work, or then I'll read out them. Then what are the current scenarios? What are the current articles available on that? So, or even what is the general information about those particular things? How I can add up certain things? How I can develop my work with this information? What are the key elements I can find it from those readings, and then I can help me to create that work in certain format. So that really kind of shape my work over the period of time. It happens in stages. I just from simple scribbling, then adding up certain elements from the readings, then just quoting up something. Okay, this kind of looks very relatable to my thought process. Okay, this text kind of goes well with it. And this the small notes writing and constant reading help me to develop my work over the period of time. That's a simple thing. And sometimes it's like um, sometimes I just do some random doodling or scribbling or just creating random works also help me to create the work. So it depends what type of concept or how I'm trying to put the work on paper or how I want to develop it. There is no fixed process in this, but these are the key things I do follow on a regular basis. Key, if I liking something, then I'll read about it and then try to look for the more information, and the information helps me to articulate that into the on a paper in some format.
What is this one piece of advice you'd like to give to the young artists who are just starting out in the visual art space?
I would just say just be constantly doing your work. I know it's very tough field, and after your master's degree program has been done, so it will take time to get certain things to fall in your hands, to your work be appreciated. You don't need to lose hope. And I know you will be facing a lot of struggles in a lot of formats, but if you really want to be out there and you would really want to be seen in some formats, in some, so the thing is, I would just say you have to keep constantly doing your work, and you have to keep constantly pushing yourself. You have to be your own motivator in some point of time. I know there will be a lot of struggles, a lot of constraints will be there on you from different formats, but you have to be there. You have to be out there meeting people, keep applying to the open roles, keep applying to the lot many other opportunities where you think your works might be fit. I know you will be getting enormous amount of rejections. That should not be allowing you to losing your hope. You have to redoing same thing again and again. And I would only say this: keep please work, please keep working, please keep experimenting, please keep learning. Don't be limited to your own comfort zone of practice. Put yourself in a very uncomfortable zone that will lead to the newer works that you ever haven't seen. So just a simple thing, keep pushing yourself to the newer boundaries. Don't be in your comfort zone anyway.
That's a great advice. Thank you, Rohit. The last question is when you're not creating your artwork, what else do you like doing otherwise?
Okay, if I'm not working, I really enjoy watching movies and web series which are psychological thriller or any mystery. That really keep me hooked up on a good amount of time.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Rohit, for such a wonderful conversation with us today. It was great talking to you.
I just wanted to say thanks for that. Yeah, I'm really thanks Abir and you for allowing me to understand, allowing me to explain my practice to your viewers, and that's really great for an emerging artist like me to putting my voices and my practice out there. And I'm really filled with gratitude and overwhelming feeling at the moment. Thank you once again.
Thank you.